पुराने जमाने के
टीचिंग के तरीकों से
हमको क्यों पढ़ाते हैं? It's so boring.
अब वेदांतु देगा प्रॉब्लम से छुटकारा।
Hi kids.
समझ आएगा तो मजा आएगा, मजा आएगा तो समझ आएगा।
Best teachers पढ़ाए तो simple लगे everything.
Leaderboards and quizzes से
Amazing.
learning हो जाए happening। समझ आएगा तो मजा आएगा, मजा आएगा तो
Vedantu. Learn live online. To attend a free live class, download the app now.
Hello my dear students, this is Sundar Rabindranathan here. Welcome to the part 2 of the session which we had the previous day. We are again going to focus in this session on the rise of nationalism in Europe. And let me give you a quick context, especially if you are someone who have just joined the session and you have not attended the previous session. See, in Europe it all started with the French Revolution. But before I speak about it, I'll give you a kind of a quick summary as to what is nationalism. Okay, so this we have dealt with, we have discussed multiple times. Nationalism is a feeling of oneness for the nation, a feeling of loyalty for the nation. Or in other words, when people together feel this is ours, this geography is our geography, right? A feeling of oneness for a geography. Okay, so that is what we call as nationalism for a nation, in other words. Now, how it all started, as I said, it all started with the French Revolution in 1789. Napoleon, he was, he was a great emperor, conquered so many territories. But one thing is, he was a monarch, okay, kind of a dictator. Naturally, it has a bad part to it, right? But the good part is very orderly. He created several orders of discipline, including something called as the Civic Code of Conduct, which happened in 1804. All right. But whenever someone is a dictator, what happens is, naturally as a citizen, you feel that several rights of yourself is getting deprived, right? And you start fighting for it. And you say, this is my country, I need these rights. And this is how it all started. This is how the feeling of nationalism came in. I hope you have a quick context to this entire concept of nationalism in Europe, right? So let's move on. And today my focus will be on more on what happened after the defeat of Napoleon. Because in part 1 we have dealt with till the defeat of Napoleon, probably in 1814-15, the war where these 4 countries defeated Napoleon. That is one. After which the Congress of the Vienna in 1815 happened. So we will start from that. You guys ready for it? Okay. And remember, probably at the end, I will give you all the important dates. The entire summary, because probably with today, we will summarize the entire and close on the entire nationalism in Europe today. So all the important dates, and I'll give you 2 very, very interesting tricks. Last time I gave you one trick, and today I'm going to give you 2 very interesting techniques. I wouldn't call them tricks, to remember those dates. Okay, you will find them very useful. Done? Awesome, guys. Let us get on. Okay, so we already dealt with the French Revolution, the making of nationalism, how it all started. My dear students, just to remind you, there were 3 different groups of people. Okay, one, we call them as conservatives. Conservatives are people who did not want, a drastic change, a big change. They wanted the monarchy, even if it is continuing, it's fine. And they wanted gradual changes. This is one. Second, we call as liberalists. They wanted complete change and they wanted full powers to the parliament and its order. Clear? This is the second kind. They are called liberals. Third is radicals. They said everything what is happening, this is total absurdity, totally monarchy should be abolished immediately. We want a drastic change. So the third category of people are the radicals. So in other words, both, except for the conservatives, both radicals as well as the liberalists, they fought, okay, for their sense of nationalism. for their freedom, in other words. Okay, that led in a course of time to the unification of few countries, which we will deal with, including Germany and Italy today. Done? Alright. So that's how it all started, the making of nationalism in Europe. And this period between 1830 and 48 saw several revolutions, several revolts, several protests between 1830 and 48, because so many drastic changes, natural calamities, drought, unemployment, so many, people encountered so much trouble, as a result of which they started fighting. We will see one after the other what are they and when it happened. Okay, right. So the making of Germany and Italy, visualizing the nation, and what is nationalism and imperialism. Done? This is what we're going to cover. I hope you guys are ready for it. Okay, here we go. So the making of nationalism in Europe. What happened after the defeat of Napoleon in 1815? Yeah, let's see that. So after 1815, people started assembling all the 4 countries which defeated Napoleon. What are the 4 countries? Come on, take a guess. Britain, Russia, Prussia. What's Prussia? That point in time, now it's a part of the German kingdom, right? And the 4th one, what is it? Austria. So these are the 4 countries which collectively defeated Napoleon. So all of them sat together, okay, in the Congress of Vienna, all right, in 1815, okay, for the discussion. And what happened there? Right? They wanted to establish certain institution for the state. And why do they wanted that? Okay, they wanted to ensure that, typically like a conservative, all the the system should be preserved. The properties, whatever that were existing, they should preserve. Just because a few things changed, Napoleon changed a lot of things, and they wanted to bring everything back, right? So this is this is what they call as a new conservatism after 1815. Okay, so yeah, I think I just spoke about this, and this was hosted by the Australian Chancellor, okay, Duke Metternich. We call it as the Congress of the Vienna. Okay, right. So what is the object? They wanted to, it's like pressing Control Z in your system. They wanted to undo what Napoleon did. Okay, so this is the major treaty that they signed up in Vienna in 1815. Okay, remember the year 1815 it is. 1815 went through multiple things. In 1814 the war started. 1815 Napoleon was defeated, and subsequently the Congress of the Vienna signed up the treaty. Okay, so what is the objective of the Treaty of Vienna, which was signed in 1815? Brought the conservative regimes back to power, destroyed the conservative powers of Europe, introduced democracy in Austria and Prussia, or none of the above? What is the right one, guys? Any guesses? I think I spoke about it, so naturally you should be able to get the answer. It's A, right? They wanted to bring back the conservative regimes. Whatever that Napoleon changed, they wanted to bring it back. Okay, A is the answer. Now, so a series of states. See, Napoleon, he was expanding France like anything. After the war, he kept on conquering, expanding the territory of France. To prevent that, they created several kingdoms which can protect their countries. All right, they created several states on the boundaries of France so that they can't invade the other country. Okay, this was one very important event which happened, action that they took. And say, if you look at it as it is mentioned, Netherlands was given in Genoa. Okay, Netherlands was set up in the north, Genoa was added, okay, to Piedmont in the south. Okay, Prussia was given territories on the western frontiers, and Austria was given control of northern Italy. German states, all of them were kept intact. They remained, all the 39 of them, they were not touched. This was what was happening. So, this is purely to prevent France from invading further in the future. Right, now to continue, what happened in Russia? So Russia was given part of Poland, Prussia was given a little of Saxony. Okay, so these are, if you look at it, the primary objective to give these territories to these countries is to ensure that they preserve those countries. That's what they wanted to do, because the main reason was once they removed Napoleon, they wanted to create again another conservative order throughout Europe. Clear, guys? Alright, so after the Vienna, they started establishing in these kingdoms throughout the border of France. Okay, all the 4 countries split between themselves certain states. Okay, now what kind of revolutionaries were there? Who revolted? It's a very, very interesting thing. You will find at some point in time lot of liberal revolutionaries will be there, and some point in time you will have something called as romantic revolutionaries. Right? Let's see what are they, what kind of revolutionaries were there and when it happened. See guys, this is the primary objective is for you to remember the dates, but you can't remember the dates if you don't know the story. Okay, that is the reason I'm quickly taking you through the story as well. Right. So a lot of liberals started fighting. It again, it started, they wanted to create several nation states, as you call it. Right. That is when they can fight. That is the idea behind creation of a nation state. Right. So most notable one is Giuseppe Mazzini. Now he was born in 1807. He was, he became a member of, it's in Italy, he became a member of the secret society of the Carbonari. Carbonari is nothing but they call as charcoal makers. They are scattered across Italy, small young revolutionaries group. He joined them. But the problem is, those group, they lacked that vision and conviction with respect to their revolution. So it didn't really succeed too well, but Mazzini didn't give up. He himself created 2, secret societies further. Okay, he combined people throughout, young men from Poland, France, Italy and German states and started, creating this. So he played a very, very vital role. Now 1830 to 1848, all what happened, let's see. Guys, I'm just quickly taking you through the stories so that we can focus on the dates again. Right? Okay. So typically, the way, I just said some time ago, the more conservative regimes came to power, the other 2 started fighting badly. They started revolting, asking for their freedom. And people from all segments of society joined the struggle, joined the, kind of a war, a protest. Who are they? How it is? How does it work? First, romantic imagination and national feeling. There were a lot of artists. Okay, a lot of artists who feel with their art, they can, emotion can play a big, big role, all right, in inspiring, motivating and sometimes, provoking people towards the freedom fight. Okay, so they started, a lot of artists joined this struggle, the artists, poet, okay, and they started, criticizing the regime, and they said, it's not, you can't really win a war just through science. You need to emotionally take people. Okay, so that is what they call it as romantic imagination, because of which that feeling of nationalism can be provoked further. Got it? They used language as a big, big tool. They used language as a big tool for their fight, for upliftment and freedom. So what is romanticism? I just explained. Is it a religious movement, cultural movement, political movement, or nothing? Romanticism, I just said, when artists and poets, they join, they try provoking the feelings of people, emotionally taking them, motivating them, inspiring them to fight. What movement is it? Is it religious? No artist is religious, right? Is it political? No way. So it is cultural. It's a cultural movement, guys, because they want to preserve their culture, take them through the culture, and language is definitely a very, very integral part of it. Right? Okay. So it's a cultural movement. Now, this is where it all started. See, in the 1830s, you find that lot of unemployment, lot of poverty because of it, and lot of revolt happened as a result of it. Population started increasing. You find that there were a lot of job seekers, very less people were employed. Okay, people started moving out because they are not getting jobs. And moving on further to it, drought came. Too much, no food. Okay, and when this happens, what happens is people start getting angry and they started revolting. They started fighting. And it typically happened in 1848. Remember, 1848 is the year where food shortages, unemployment, everything came together and intensified the struggle. Yeah? So as a result of it, Louis Philippe, alright, who was a ruler, he was forced to flee. Okay? Flee France. Okay, this is one in 1848. Again, before that in 1845, weavers started fighting. Okay? Because the contractors were making use of them. Making use of that hunger, the poverty, and what they did was, in 1845, people started, the contractor even went to a stage where they started charging them less. Charging them, for their orders, paying them less for their orders. So, as a result of which, in 1845, weavers in Silesia, they started revolting. Okay, this is one part of the revolution movement. Right, guys? 1845 now. So, in 1848, we saw that is a place when all the calamity, the drought, everything happened. 1845, it was known for weaver struggle. Okay? Right. The revolution of the liberals. So, liberals are those, again, who are they? They wanted more powers for the systems and structures like the parliament. Okay. So, now, in parallel to what happened in 1848, people were fighting, no food was there, etc. Right? Again, a revolution happened with people who were literate. The middle class people, they started fighting for the complete, abolition of the monarchy. Okay. Right. So, where it happened? France. Okay. Right, guys. Again, 1848. See what all happened in 1848. It's very important year. Multiple events. Okay. German regions, large number of middle class, educated professional businessmen, everyone came together and said, we will have a unified German National Assembly. Okay. So that's the picture that you see here. Right. So again, in 18th May 1848, the procession was there involving all of them. Alright. So to enable these people take their places in the Frankfurt Parliament, okay, which convened in St. Paul Church. Right, guys, now they started sitting, they started drafting a constitution for a unified German nation. Okay. Again, that will be, what is the idea behind? They wanted a monarchy. Okay, so they are fine with it. They were fine with it. They wanted a monarchy, but however, with powers to the parliament. Right. Now, another very significant part of the liberal revolution was freedom for women. Was it really there? Not at all. Okay. Women had really, they started forming their own political associations, newspapers, etc. Okay, they started revolting, expressing. Alright, they started using their freedom of expression, and because they weren't having one. Now, see here, Louis Otto Peters, she wrote a beautiful thing. She said, if we ask all the women, are they really fighting for the entire humanity? Not at all. Their answer will be, the right answer should be, they were fighting only for one part of the humanity. And that's not true liberty. That is exactly what Otto Peters said. And to that extent, she, freely expressed herself. Okay? And she is one woman who is known to be an integral part of this struggle. Okay? In the rise of nationalism. Okay. Right, guys. Let us see the unification of Germany and Italy along with the most important dates. Okay? So, right. So after 1848, where all the revolts got intensified, okay, conservatives, came into picture. All the democratic movements started, weakening, and conservatives started gaining more power at state level and achieving political domination over Europe. Okay, so this is a very important thing. In 1871, 18th January 1871, all the members of the princely states of Germany, they started assembling along with the people in the army, representatives of the army, important ministers, chief minister, Otto von Bismarck. Otto von Bismarck is the main, I would say, kingmaker behind this. So they gathered, all right, what did they gather for? To proclaim a new German empire. And it happened in 1871, 18th Jan 1871. So this was the nation building process, and what all did they did, if you look at it, they wanted to create a proper, a proper, administrative system, including banking, legal, and judicial and currency system overall. So everything, Prussian measures and practices was the model for the the rest of the Germany. So this is how it all started. It happened in 1871. Remember that. So who was responsible for the unification of Germany? Cavour, Bismarck, Mazzini, or Garibaldi? I think you will easily find it out, because we just had discussed it. Bismarck, right? The right answer is Bismarck. Okay. So the making of Italy and Germany, Italy unified. Now we just spoke about Germany, what happened in 1871. Now unified Italy. So Italy also was totally, scattered, fragmented, politically. So there were different, dynasties that were existing, and along with the Habsburg, empire. So in the mid 19th century, that is the 1850s, Italy was into 7 states, okay, and Sardinia, Piedmont was the only princely house among that. All of you know what's a princely house, right? So the north was, the Austrian Habsburg. The center was ruled by Pope, and southern regions were under the domination of, Bourbon kings of the Spain. So if you look at it, it was totally scattered. It had to be unified. And how it happened? Let's see that. Right? So now in the 1830s, Mazzini came into picture. He is again the kingmaker, similar to, Bismarck. For Italy, he came into picture. He put together a plan, a totally unified, plan for the United Italian Republic. Okay, that happened in 1830s, and the failure of the revolutions, okay, both in 1831, 1848, though the revolutions were happening, it didn't succeed, okay, against that regime. Now, the princely state, the king of the princely state, Victor Emmanuel, it was his responsibility, it became his responsibility to unify these states. Okay? So, because once it is unified, focusing on economic development and political stability and dominance becomes very easy. Right, guys? That is the reason they wanted to unify it. Okay. Now, in Britain, okay, just look at one very interesting thing of Britain. In Britain, it didn't happen overnight. It was a very, a very lengthy, a long process which happened. There were different people who were there, the English, Welsh, Scot, Irish, etc. Right? Now, these were people, who formed an integral part of the British Empire. But there is no British nation on the whole. Okay? But they took a long time to draw out the process and unify. But the advantage with Britain was it was a well-disciplined and well-structured country on the whole. So the unification system or the process became a bit more easier, though it is lengthier. Okay, right, guys, you have seen several things today. If you look at it, we have also dealt with how what happened, who unified Italy, who unified Germany, what happened in Britain, and what kind of revolutions happened, what was romantic imagination and the national feeling. We also dealt with the weavers' protests, different segments, middle class people, the literate ones who started protesting. We've identified, we started discussing all aspects. Now I hope you have a gist of the multiple things that happened in with respect to the formation of different countries in Europe as a result of the nationalism phenomena. Yeah, right. Now, what are the important dates that we need to remember? Okay, I hope everyone is able to see that. So to start with, I think we've already dealt with this. I'll just quickly take you through that. 1785-86, you find that Grimm brothers were born. Who were the Grimm brothers? They were known for folk tales. Okay, through folk tales, they started expressing the their feelings. All right, they are very well known, and they found that this would help in moving the nationalism movement ahead. Folk tales. Okay, because that's a very strong part of the culture. This is one part. Second is 1789. I think we already spoke about it enough. So the French Revolution part, and then 1797, Napoleon's war, invasion of Italy. Okay, it became his empire, his geography. Now, in 1804, he created a lot of orderliness. It's called the Civic Code of Conduct. 1804, 1807. So Mazzini, all right, who was the kingmaker behind the unification of Italy, he joined the secret society. We call the Carbonari, which I just spoke about, which was scattered. Remember, right? So then, 1812, the Grimm brothers, both of them, published their folk tales, the collection of folk tales. That is in 1812. In 1813, the first time, Napoleon lost the Battle of Leipzig. Then, 1814-15, subsequently, all the four countries together, Britain, Austria, Russia and Prussia, they collectively defeated Napoleon, 1814-15. And then in 1815, again the Congress of the Vienna came in with the treaty, and 1821, Greek struggle for independence started. Okay, and the revolts, the nationalism became very, very strong with the Greeks in 1821. So whenever you want to remember 1821, remember Greece. Okay, right. Okay, my dear students, 1824, English poet Lord Byron, he was known. He joined the struggle for freedom, and he died out of fever. Actually, he died out of fever, and he was again instrumental. Lord Byron, he's an English poet, but he fought for them. Right? Okay, 1824, massacre at Chios, and 1830, the first upheaval in France. Okay, and at the age of 24, in 1831, Mazzini was sent into exile for attempting to bring in a revolution in Liguria. So my dear students, if you look at it, these are the important dates that you have to remember. Right. Further, 1848, I think we already spoke a lot. Alright, the middle class people started fighting, the festive procession in 1848 happened in the Frankfurt Parliament. 1859, okay, Cavour, okay, who had a tactful alliance with France, okay, succeeded in defeating the Austrian forces. Cavour, you have to remember, alright, the France part. How do you remember all these dates? So my dear students, these are important dates that you will have to remember. Right? How will you remember all these dates? I'll give you two techniques. One is, it's called a number shape technique. Okay? In fact, already I have given one. This is the second one. If you want to remember a number, every number has a shape, right? One looks like a pole, an electric pole. Two looks like a swan swimming. Think about it, visualize it. Three looks like kind of a handcuff, a cuff that we use for, cops use for arresting, right? Four looks like a boat, a yacht. Five looks like a key hook where we place the keys. Six looks like an elephant with trunk, with the folded trunk. Seven looks like a boomerang. Eight looks like probably spectacles, right? This looks like eight. Eight looks like specs. Nine looks like a balloon with string. Is it not? And zero looks like a probably baseball, egg, whatever you call it. No problem. So now every number has a shape. Now all you have to do is, if you want to remember something, if you want to remember 1789, 1789, one looks like a pole, right? Two, seven looks like a boomerang. So pole, boomerang, spectacles and balloon with string. Please associate the French Revolution with these four and form a small quick visualization. It's called number shape technique. Okay, something like 1789. There was a pole, a French Revolution, right? At the top of which there was a person who was sitting with a boomerang in his hand. Pole at the top of which there was a person sitting with the boomerang in his hand, right? Wearing specs, and he is holding a balloon, big balloon, which is named as French Revolution. Imagine, you will never forget it. There is a pole at the top of which one person is sitting with a boomerang in one hand. The other hand, he is wearing specs. He is holding a balloon with a string which says French Revolution. I hope now you are able to see. You will never forget 1789, guys, trust me. All you need to know is, first ensure that you keep fixed objects for every number 1 to 0, that is 1 to 9 or 0 to 9, depending on the shape of the number. I hope you like this. Once you properly practice this, it works wonders. Okay? What is the other technique? Similar to that, number has a sound, right? When you say a number, with that also you can identify objects. See, 1. What is a word which sounds like 1? Probably 1. Bun. 2. 1 for 1, the object is bun. 2 is shoe. 3. Tree. 4. Door. 5. Hive. Beehive. Hive. 6. Sticks. Heaven. 8. Bait. Alright? Or straight, whatever you want to. 9. You can have pine. You can have fine. Right? 10. Or there is no 10. 0. You can have hero. So, keep these as the objects, and similarly, whatever you want to remember, associate them to form a story. If it is 1789, then it will be bun, heaven, bait, bun, heaven, bait, and 9. It is pine. Bun, heaven, bait, and pine. Try and relate it to French Revolution. You will never forget it because this accesses your photographic memory, guys. This is called number rhythm technique, number rhyme technique. You got it? So my dear students, I hope you have a gist of how, now you have a better understanding as to how to remember these dates and what all happened in the rise of nationalism in Europe. So my dear students, that's the end of it for today. I'll meet you in another session where I will detail you exclusively. I'll spend some time on the different dates that are there and how to remember dates, because that's also more important, right? I hope you got it. Yeah. Thank you so much. See you in another session probably in the coming week. Okay. Until then, this is bye bye from Sundar.